Good afternoon and welcome to this Grundig press conference. I'm really glad to be here today. My name is Maria Canaval. I'm going to be your host. For those who don't know me, I am a journalist, I am a book author, and I'm also the president of Parabere Forum. Parabere is a global network, and our target is to support inclusion, diversity, and equality gender in hospitality. We are a network of 5,000 women from 40 countries, and we are committed to improve the state of nutrition, food, and gastronomy by engaging leaders from politics, academia, businesses, and civil society. I'm very glad to be joining today this stage with two wonderful people, Hakan Buluru and Massimo Bottura. They both are leaders in their respective industry, and both stand for values such innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. We are going to be talking about their collaboration and how it's changing our lives. I would like to call now Hakan Bulgur on the stage. He is the CEO of Arjlik, the parent company of Grundig.
Thank you. Very good. Very good.
It's great to be back in Berlin, right?
It is great. I hate sitting in the middle, but I mean, when it's Massimo, I won't complain. I'll sit in the middle. It's great to be here. It's great to have you here too. I'm a great admirer of your work with the Parabere Forum. And of course, your experience speaks for itself. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hakan, it's very clear from Grundig purpose that you have really strong values of innovation and sustainability. So maybe we can start this discussion talking about how you are improving customers' experience and what are you doing for the planet. Do you think that this really makes a point of differentiation?
I mean, thank you for starting with this question. It's something very dear to my heart, and it's probably the reason why we are such close friends with Massimo and how our collaboration started. I believe that purpose is incredibly important. Like in our personal lives, for our lives to have meaning, to leave a lasting legacy, you need a purpose in your life. Just like you need a purpose in your life, I believe companies need a purpose. And that purpose cannot be just about making profit or growing or consuming more resources. That purpose has to benefit society in many ways. One of my favorite books is by Robert Fulghum. It's a great book. It actually talks about how we learn all our values in kindergarten. It's very, very simple. Don't take other people's stuff. If you make a mess, clean it up. And put things back where you take them from. It's that simple. So, as a company, our vision statement is respecting the world, respected worldwide. I think this very well encapsulates these three basic principles which we should all live our lives by. We recycle our appliances. I believe we're the only one in the world. I'll touch on it later. But we take back our appliances, recycle them. We use recycled materials in our appliances that we manufacture. We make sure we invest a lot in R&D and innovation just to make sure that we have the world's least energy consuming appliance, least water consuming appliance. So sustainability is something very key to us. We put a lot of effort into trying to stop putting pollutants in the environment. I'll talk about that a bit as well later. Just like in kindergarten, put back, don't take natural resources if they're not yours, they're everybody's.
Interesting.
Maria, actually, before we continue, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You have many years' experience in this sector, in food preparation. What are some of the trends you see in the kitchen or happening in the households going forward?
Well, I think one of the trends is that home cooks, in fact, they don't have that much time. We have a full day, and then we like to cook at home. And maybe we are looking for appliance that can help us to save time. And while at the same time, we want to cook, to be with the family, to be with the friends. I think people don't want to compromise with quality also. I think another trend is also the health. Yeah, people is looking for, the way they cook. They want to preserve nutrients from the aliments, so nutrition and health, I think, is also a trend. And then I think the last trend, but not least, is sustainability.
Yeah.
Well, for me, food waste is something important. I know for my industry, I know for hospitality, it's a very important issue, also the food waste. I know for you it is very important. And sustainability is important because, as you said before, talking about the water and the plastic, I think customers are ready to buy sustainable appliance because they want to make the part for the planet also. So this is more or less the trends I see. I don't know if it's in line with your trends also.
Well, I mean, I'm very happy to hear you actually mention these are the pillars that we really focus on. One of them, obviously, artificial intelligence, image recognition, connectivity. These are all aspects of technology which seem complicated, but all are actually enablers for the consumer to cook better in their home, to spend more time with their families, to spend more time in the kitchen. And our research shows that people are spending more and more time in the kitchen because family time is becoming more important and it's all around cooking. So I'm happy to hear that because our gourmet chef oven is exactly that. It's aimed at making the home chef cook as good as a professional chef and then making it simpler and easier to clean up afterwards, etc. So I guess we're on the right track. That's good to hear. And sustainability, obviously, I talked about earlier, is something very dear to my heart and Grundig's heart.
But talking about trends, there is many trends that that are improving or changing the way we are acting. How do you select, when you develop a new appliance actually, how do you select the right trend?
Well, it's not easy. We do a lot of research. We have been doing, we have an R&D and design team that has been building IP for 25 years. I think these trends have been building for some time, so for us to see them coming and then jump onto them wasn't by luck actually. We've already done a lot of work in them. But the connectivity trend is real. Today more than 240 million appliances are sold, connected appliances are sold, and this is growing very fast. It's already a market of more than $40 billion, so it's something that we can't ignore.
Huge.
But more than that, I think this gives us an opportunity to differentiate to our competitors, to bring real innovation to the consumer, save them time, conserve the food. All these technologies are actually easier to use when the consumer can interact with them in an easier way. And connectivity is bringing this. So this is a major trend that we've identified. You will be able to see, products which are responding to voice in every area of the room, from the kitchen. I mean, the oven will take commands in voice, but the TV will also do the same thing for the oven. These are all developments which I think will save time and also serve all these other purposes that we're talking about. When we're selecting these trends and which ones to invest in, I think we're trying to really figure out which ones are the most meaningful. Not something that brings a very expensive technology which will barely be used by the consumer, but rather than that, something that will make their lives easier every day. So that's kind of the moral gauge that we judge trends by.
This is very exciting, especially when talking about the voice,
Yeah.
And in a more concrete way, what are the trends that we can see, how we can see it reflected this year at IFA?
Well, here you'll see the most exciting development, I will share it a little bit, all together with Massimo. That really excites me. I think that's the most exciting development in the whole of IFA, and I'm not exaggerating. But if you want to think about the trends, for example, we have an 8K television, 75-inch huge, it's like a cinema, again, which will be voice enabled. This is an area of technology which is developing fast. Content will be created there. But if you say what's available today are 4K TVs, which are Alexa enabled, voice enabled, which can be the smart center of the home, You can order from Amazon, you can control your washing machine, you can turn the temperature of the AC down, all by voice. This is now available today. Our HomeWiz connected appliances range is also available today for the market. This is exciting because it brings the full range of IoT and security to your home. Makes it much easier for you to manage your home. I'm not talking about opening and turning off lights or curtains. These are things that have been available for a long time. I'm talking about earthquake sensors, water sensors, so things that actually really make a difference in terms of security. And appliances which are truly connected, which allow us to monitor how they're being used, of course with full respect to privacy, anonymously. It allows us to design better machines. If your fridge is about to break down, we're able to see it and send a service technician to your home before you even...
That's my dream.
Yeah, before you even know you need it, right? That kind of thing. We're also able, if, for example, we see that you're washing the same kind of clothes every day, we're able to ask you, okay, we see you're doing this, would you allow us to download a special algorithm which will better protect your clothes, use less water, less detergent, etc., etc. We're also working on new business models which will come from this connectivity, but I think HomeWiz is one of the biggest things we're showing here in IFA also.
Extremely exciting.
It is, it's very exciting.
And I think sustainability is not a trend, it's more than a trend. We are all concerned by water consumption, we are concerned about energy consumption also. So it's interesting, you're talking about innovation, but how do you monitoring the produce that that they have a positive impact for the planet?
I mean, time is not enough here to talk about all the initiatives. The most meaningful ones, I'll mention a few. One is we've developed, if you're familiar with the big problem in the oceans, everybody's focused on plastics these days. I'll start there. I mean, there's this great global movement which started with Plastic Oceans, the film, which was actually a friend of mine in Hong Kong who started it, against plastic, and rightfully so. We're filling the oceans with plastic, and it's not sustainable. By 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Simply not acceptable because it doesn't biodegrade. So we have a new washing machine which the tub actually is made using recycled PET bottles, water bottles. This year we've used 12 million bottles. Every year we aim to double this, 24 million, 48 million. This is a real impactful
12 million.
12 million. But actually what everybody needs to focus, at least responsible people need to focus, is to stop putting things in the ocean. Now everyone talks about plastic, but no one's really aware of microfibers. Each time you have a wash cycle, you're releasing 700,000 microfibers into the ocean. And this is invisible pollution. This is something fish consume, therefore you consume. We are working on a filter, which we will open source, make it available to all industry, that will capture 99% of these microfibers before they are actually in the waterways. And then they will be recovered, sent to us, which will be made into yarn, and then clothing which consumers can buy as recovered from the oceans. Initiatives like this are really meaningful. Another thing we've just started is these fishing nets. Every year, 640,000 tons of fishing nets are released into the oceans. Fishermen simply dump them. Well, we are now using, this year, 65 tons of fishing nets recycled into product. Next year, we're going to multiply that by 5. So we are hopeful that the amount of recovered materials in our products will increase exponentially over the future. I'm a big believer that consumers are willing to pay more for products that do the right thing for Earth. And I mean, the best way of competing is always by doing the right thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Impressive figures. Well, I think Grundig is doing its part for the planet, and we are looking very much forward to learn about your achievements and all your innovations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to change now a little bit the gear, and I'm going to call on the stage Massimo Bottura, which is a world-renowned chef, which is the founder of Food for Soul, and which is also the Grundig brand ambassador. Welcome, Massimo.
Getting close to
Yeah,
I love it.
Close to me. Well, it's a thrill to be here with you both, and I have a question for Hakan actually first, because we have been following Massimo for many years, and in the industry we have an eye on your collaboration. So I think we would like to know more. How do you start to work together, and how it feels to work with Massimo Bottura?
Wow. It's quite incredible. Actually, it's a relationship that developed on its own, organically, if we can say so. I think it was about 4 years ago. We got very excited with his referitorios and Food for Soul. It's something, as I mentioned, every company should have a purpose. Every company has a soul. So Food for Soul became something that really attracted us to Massimo. But more than that, he's personally been an inspiration to me. I went to a course in Harvard. There's a very well-known Italian professor, Francesco Gina. She has a book called Rebel Talent. That book was written, she actually went and worked in his kitchen for a long time, worked in his kitchen and tried to understand how you become the #1 chef in the world. Well, if you read that book, you'll understand clearly. She was saying, fail as many times as you can, be as creative as you can, and innovate. And I mean, he is much more than a chef, actually. I mean, soon people will be calling him a business guru, because that actual philosophy of failing fast, learning quick, and innovating is applicable to any industry. So he's a personal, let me say, guru, and it's a friendship that's developed over the years. I believe together we will do many good things.
I need this book. Massimo, you stand for quality, you stand for inclusion, you stand for social responsibility. Your restaurant, Osteria Francescana in Modena, has been elected best restaurant in the world, and you have been nominated by the New York Times as one of the most creative persons in the world. So how or what attracted you for working with Grundig?
It's a long story, as you said, you know. It's a story that starts from the ethic side and arrive and explode on the aesthetic side. Usually it's the opposite, but this is what happened. You know, we did this whole idea of feed the planet our own way at the Universal Exposition, and it was an amazing impact. But we didn't know what to expect. You know, even Lara, my wife, she didn't understand what I had in mind when I decided to create a refectorio and Food for Soul, and she was like, what the hell are you going to do after everything we worked for, and now you want to ruin, you know. I said, listen, just trust me. This is exactly what we need when you have the numbers on your side. 1.3 billion tons of food are wasted every year. We produce food for 12 billion people. We are 7, and 1 billion people doesn't have anything to eat. So feed the planet means fight food waste. And so what we did, we decided to open this amazing soup kitchen full of beauty, because we always believed that beauty can change the world. It's not beauty just the beauty of the food, it's the beauty of the idea, it's the beauty of art that is make visible the invisible, the beauty of design that create amazing places in which we could host the people and rebuild the dignity of the people around. For what? How? Through hospitality, through the beauty of hospitality. Welcome. You're welcome. You're like, come here, we're gonna feed you. But the how? It's not just about feed you, it's how you do it. And you know, 1 week before the opening, we already had a line of, you know, things ready with the service. I said to Christina, like my right hand in Food for Soul, look how many volunteers are there. Why don't we cancel this and we do what we do, we know what to do. Like serve the people with a great welcome and at the table. And we did that. And exactly what made the difference is vision, is make visible the invisible. They approach us not as the best restaurant in the world, not as a 3 Michelin star, not as a chef. They said, you know, we really would love to help the Food for Soul. So that was something that made the difference for me. Because I never signed with anyone. Like Parmigiano Reggiano, I'm doing that because I believe in that. With balsamic vinegar, it's the same, you know. If I believe in something, I'll do it. If I don't believe, I cannot say it because it's my nature, okay? So I said, I start listening. You have my attention, please. You know, we produce these kind of things. Then I start checking, you know, the dishwasher, the washing machine. They consume less water than any other one on planet. The refrigerator, they scan the product that are close to expire, and they are telling you. You know, now today we were checking like the hair blowing, you know, like, and you know, they are the most silent in the world. Like, it's like sound pollution. You know, we are fighting over also sound pollution. That's amazing. It's exactly what I have and what I do every day in Osteria Francescana. It's not just about the quality of the ingredients, it's the quality of the idea that they can change the world. So that's why I decided after 2 years of working together, or like they support us, they arrive in Rio de Janeiro, in Modena, in Bologna, in Paris, in London, I said, okay, it's time also to create something different and take a next step close to this company. So that's how we did.
I like very much the idea that they call you for Refettorio in Milano. Bravo. Hakan, what are you developing together?
Well, what do we develop? That's what everybody is curious about.
I think so.
Well, you know, Massimo is not an easy person to work with.
Really?
He is obsessed with quality.
Yes,
and you don't become an icon like he is without being obsessed with quality. So I respect that, but it's difficult to get to his quality standards. So we have been working together in developing a new range of appliances which will allow people to become a professional chef in their home. Tools for them to cook like a pro, if you wish. And I'm proud to announce actually the first lineup that we've developed together with Massimo that actually focuses on great iconic design as well as function. So it's not just quality of product, but also design. I hope you like it. We have a short film, I believe. If we can play it, I'll step out of the way so you can see it.
So I say cooking, you say it is
Love.
an act of love.
Exactly.
Cooking
No, but
is an act of love.
I really like them. You know, I really
It's
like them.
beautiful.
I was very impressed by the work they did. You know.
It's beautiful, it's so elegant, I think. But, well, I think for developing this line, Massimo, I think you got inspiration for your personal life.
Yeah. It's
And, well, maybe also from trends, because you travel a lot and you're interested in art, music, architecture.
But you know, Maria, there is something that I would say before. It's not about trend. It's about you, that you create your own trend. It's not, we don't want to copy anyone. you know, when they were saying, oh, the new trend is to put this, I don't fucking care. I want this big bottom, simple, that I go there and I can move like this and I push like this, because these kind of people, they're like 20 years old, they work in the kitchen of Osteria, they don't have to think about what they have to do. They just have to push this, open, move, and touch. And this is the most simple thing ever, and I love this. The touch of gold is the touch of that reminds bread is gold. That is my book. That is the first image of the refectory in London, that you walk in and you see bread is gold, because it's from bread that everything starts. You know. Then cooking is an act of love. Sorry. I was surprised because I didn't know that. You know, that it was their ideas. And so when Sylvia came to Modena and she showed me that with cooking is an act of love, I got goosebumps, because I like, this is something very special. Why? Because remind my grandmother. My grandmother. Okay, we have 2 minutes.
Yes.
I'm telling you a story. So we were in Paris. Okay, so we were in Paris, and you know, there was this journalist. That's what we were there at the opening of La Madeleine. It's at La Madeleine, you know, like in this amazing church, and we were like, you know, hundreds of journalists, of people, of chefs, so happy to be there that we were transforming a small, dark, dusty place into an amazing, super place to feed people in need. Okay? This journalist was there just to talk bad about something, you know? And when I explain that the idea of cooking is an act of love, she came to me in front of everybody saying, cooking is business. I said, I didn't say anything the first time. The second time, but don't tell us that cooking is business. I couldn't, I had to answer, you know. It was too much for me. And I said, listen, it's not what my grandmother teach me. You know, cooking is like spend time around the table with your family and enjoy the way you dream together, the way you fight, the way you plan the future, the way you make peace with the way you dream with your family or your friends together. Cooking is an act of love together. She left. So the point is that when you talk about your own life, you talk about what you do and what we do, and that's why I always say that Osteria Francescana is my family, because Lara, Charlie, and Alexa are my family, of course. But also the other 60 people that are working in Osteria Francescana is my family. So if we develop something together, because this is the results of 1 year of pushing and high the bar, and you know, this one in the beginning was like, you know, was off after 10 minutes, then half an hour, then 2 hours, then 18 hours, then now he's working every day in Osteria Francescana. So when I asked Ducati to create my motorcycle, I said, yeah, but I don't want that kind of motorcycle. I want that the frame has to be black and the engine has to be not shiny but opaque, to give like the idea of omaggio to Theolius Monk, the famous dish. So I said that. Then, you know, I said, let's do that. You know, like create the shiny, opaque things, but at the end they add that touch of gold, but not shiny, because the shiny gold is too showy. We don't want that. We don't want to be too showy. But the opaque gold that reminds a little bit of bronze is the idea of not waste, not think, and the bread is gold, and the all things that reminds you that. And I found that so amazing, and you know, I was extremely impressed by that. So that's the whole story, you know, behind.
It's very interesting because yes, from the look, they are really far from the conventional and classic white look and steel look.
Yeah.
And also, well, they are really beautiful, but as you said, they are tested in Osteria Francescana.
Yeah.
So the specifications and the speed is really good for professional and home cooking.
And another things that are very important is the guy, like all the technicians, you know, because before we were having a, you know, conversation with journalists and things, so we were also already developed something new, no? And we were like, okay, but if we're gonna put something that is gonna be cooking and things and that power, how can we do? So we were already designed a new product. So I can't
this is
show
really
you this.
breaking
You know,
news.
we
We don't
already
show everyone yet.
no, I don't want to show anyone. But, you know, we already have the future here.
Yes.
And the technician, can we do it? Yes, we can. Of course. Okay, let's do it. You know.
It's great to develop prototypes like this.
I
right?
know, it's amazing. You know, ideas, of course, the creativity flows, unstoppable. And our job and our engineers are really quite amazing. They don't know how to say no. So they work and work and work until they get it right. We will bring many new innovations together with us.
It's in your DNA.
They don't have to say no. They have to say when.
Exactly. Oh, I think this is really exciting news. I'm really honored to be here because, well, they share real values together. We can see it's a partnership that comes from the heart. They stand for sustainability, they stand for innovation, and for social issues also, which are really very dear to my heart. But I must say that now at the moment, I just want to go to the booth and to see the appliance. I invite you the same. You have all the staff, the experts from Grundig on the floor that will answer to all your questions. And thank you very much for joining this press conference. Thank you.
And we have a surprise. We have a surprise.
Ooh.
If you go to the booth, you can get one for free. It's not true.
Keep watching us. You'll see many new products. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.